Hey YouTube, this is Infonator1. I'm making a very short video on how, for the longest time, I was basically downloading some of the shows, the talk shows, the conservative ones that are being banned, and I wanted to show how Chrome, basically when you save bookmarks and you go to them, you're doing it through Google Chrome. So Chrome is run or owned by Google. So they recently, just today, I didn't get to download half of them. I got to, I think, 2, and then it blocked. So I thought maybe it was the memory on the SD card, and I checked it out. I erased, I don't know how many files, maybe 80 files with 6 gigs. I mean, not 6 gigs, 6 point something, 6.83 or 6.38 megabytes each. It would have been more than enough, way more than enough for the shows I was downloading. So I know positively that it was a hack. I got hacked the other day. I made a little video on that. I saved the screen because when I booted it up, it never did that, the blue screen. Usually you just press F1 or F5 and it boots up. It goes through the whole internal programming to get back to where it was, and thankfully they didn't erase any files, but definitely they are definitely Google is owned, YouTube is owned, even this site is owned by Google, so they can squeeze the flow of traffic so nobody gets to see this video. I understand everything. I understand all of their methods. It doesn't matter if you know. It's the problem. The problem is you can't tell anybody. So I'm making this video anyways, just to show you that. Oh yeah, even before the blue screen, hack. There was a hack before that, and I've had countless hacks before that, and I've had by other computers, before that too. I mean, just had to buy other computers because they break the computer. They turn off the modem. On my tablet, they turn off the they do a lot of things internally with the tablet, because they can do that they can write on the SD card, and sometimes they turn off the output jack. Sometimes the show will start this like a little bit, like a few minutes, like I turn it on, I see, oh, it's working, and then it's all erased. It's all erased after that. So they do. I mean, they're just insane. But this is what I wanted to tell you on this one. When you save to your bookmarks, even if, like, say you open a tab and you go to bookmarks, and you go to book manager, this is all Google Chrome. So you can't even erase it off of Google Chrome. I just started erasing it, but you can do it on DuckDuckGo. You can't do it. It won't erase. I can even show you. Look, well, with I think I already got no. The history's still here. So you see, look, clear browsing, past hour. Well, let's say the past day. It'll get rid of everything. Okay, go back to history. It's still there, the exact same ones. So they do not get rid of your history, whether if you want to or not. And your downloads, I think you can get rid of, but the history's still there. So they know where you've been. Even when you go to DuckDuckGo and you go to bookmarks, this whole section is Chrome. So you go to bookmarks and it opens up in Chrome again. So it's the same thing. Sorry, history, clear, doesn't clear. Look, history again, still there. But with DuckDuckGo, let's see, history, no, it opens up the same one. So what you have to do is, say you're gonna go see like this site, you have to go to, you gotta go to Podbean. It didn't download Michael Savage earlier, it had a error download with the red little letters all over it. Podbean, and then you put whoever you want to look at, and you can access it and you can download it. So you download, here you go, save link wherever you want to. In this case, desktop. I already did it, so it did work. I'm trying to tell you. And then what was weird is they've done a few times where I'll have my what is it called, my search engine as DuckDuckGo, and then they'll change it to Chrome, Google Chrome, or whatever, Google. Sometimes it turns to Google all by itself. I didn't do a single thing to get it done, but it does it all by. We all know that it's not by itself, but let's just say it changes, and I had to change it back, and then I even put out default, like maybe a start page or something else, so that they can't, monitor what I'm doing. What they're doing is basically monitoring where you're going, and yeah, they could use predictive programming, predictable programming, and all that, but I don't think that's what it is. They're trying to ID the conservatives. The people are going to give them trouble. The ones that they're going to not allow, to have the mark of the beast, like as if we want it. They're the ones pushing it. Of course, it's just a method to their ends. They want to get rid of the troublemakers, to get full control of the government with the voting of the liberals. So when they get the full control of the government, they can do their eugenics cull program, and basically instead of just wiping out just the conservatives, they also wipe out the people who enabled them, who empowered them. So this is a very sick agenda. And as I've said it, of course there's no good gods. They would be helping us. See, the evil has no bottom. They can even pretend to be the good gods. So Jesus Christ is actually one of their players. I'm going to make another video on that, and I had some really good titles for videos. I think I had one. I've done, I think, a video on this. I'm not sure, but or either it was just an excerpt in one of my videos. It wasn't the title, but I thought this up last night, and I go, man, I need to do a video paralleling how Kukulkan or Quetzalcoatl was, he looked exactly like Jesus, exactly. And he came around the Meso area, which was, I guess, 1500, 1600 years ago, in Central America with the Aztecs and the Mayans and all them, and they worshipped him. And that's why they didn't attack the Spaniards when they came, because they were light-skinned and blue-eyed and blonde-haired, just like Kukulkan. So there's parallels there between that and Jesus. And no, the part is really do shapeshift. The title of the name is "Do Shapeshifters Exist?" And then I put Kukulkan because he was known to shapeshift in front of the Indians. Well, not in front of them, but he could have. I don't know if he went away, shapeshifted, and then come back as another thing, as a snake or whatever with legs. I don't know how he did it in front of them or not, because nobody was there. That was almost 2,000 years ago. It was like 1,600 years ago. What I'm trying to say is that was another agent or provocateur of the overlords. Basically, it was a being that calls himself a god. It could be even, it could be asexual creature. He's got both. It can be both sexes, and androgynous. So, Baphomet is considered an androgynous creature, and basically what I'm saying if it can change into anything, it's probably Baphomet as well. So Kukulkan is Jesus, is Kukulkan, and Kukulkan and Jesus is Baphomet. So it's they're all the same beings. These beings basically have free reign. As we know, the gods, like the Greek gods, could turn into birds, horses, and whatever animals they wanted, because they have, I think, all these DNA profiles in their DNA, programmed into their DNA. So what I'm saying is that, as I've told so many, the way the observer told Peter that he didn't even know what he didn't know, and this is the can, the can of information that I'm opening up, and hoping that people will kind of see the manipulation going on, because that's what these beings are. They're masterful manipulators. They rule us from another realm, but they can occasionally drift into this realm, intervene, or pierce this veil somehow, and then they have to go back sometimes. They have periods of times where they're windows. I guess that's why Microsoft calls their running program Windows. I think that they come and they go, and in that process they build a profile of archetypes, evil and good, right? Good is Jesus or Allah or whatever religion, or Buddha. All these beings, and at times they progress man along technologically, for sure. They have to do a lot of good in order for you to believe in them. So their agenda is really long term. It's extremely long term. So wherever they're at, they may have difference in time, or as they call it, time dilation. Whereas their time is a lot slower. And they could go into their time, then come back in 1,000 years, and for them it was a day or 2 or 3 or 5. Just like it says in the Bible, that 1,000 days was as a day was as 1,000 years for God. So the God of the Bible, or the Bible, or the BS, is really a reaper agent, or what do they call it? A reaper, soul reaper, for the intended purpose of beguiling us and taking our souls into their possession. That's why people get possessed. And when people get possessed, it's also an allowance for them to integrate into their bodies for a while to be human. Those are the outcasted or outlawed demons usually. They're not the immortals, as Lanuge and Storm of the Century commented about. I need to cover that movie, because I believe that Stephen King is absolutely channeling these beings, because of the brilliance of the manipulation of Lanuge, how he worked the people in that movie. It can only be understood because I understand the mind of these archons, these demiurges, or whatever you want to call them, aeons. I don't know what they are. They have so many different names. I don't know why I'm going off to this. Okay, it was supposed to be a short video. It's very interesting, but at the same time it's extremely urgent, and we're in a dangerous time. So we probably can't do anything. They've set it up where they're at the tops of every management system. That's what's a pyramid system, top down control system. But like I said, this has a lot to do with them. You might not understand that the technology that we're being deplatformed off of, or cut off from, is an extension of these beings that I'm talking about. So there is no disconnect from it. It is a continual line of obtrusion, blocking our ability to fight back. It's like a bully who ties you up and beats you over the head with a board. He doesn't want to play fair. Then that's what these beings are. They don't play fair because obviously if they did, they would lose. They always lose when it's a fair fight. Always, 100%. Because people know after a while when they're like in a oppressive reality, they will, they'll either run away or fight back. And these beings know that's the way it is. They will always lose, and they're losers. I mean, of course they win, but they win by cheating. They win by creating this super choreographed top-down system all around us. And first and foremost, they know that the money, they invented the money so that they could consolidate the power into lesser hands and into their hands. Therefore, they gave the rich people, Rockefeller, Rothschilds, Astors, the Lees, the Onassis, all these, they're all different races. They're not one race. They're not just the Jews. They're all races, because as we know, there was 12 children of Abraham. See, and the Bible's Jewish patriarch line are basically the main tribes of the world, right? Which, they didn't. I don't know if they integrated, but they definitely take orders from the God of the Bible, which is not a good God. It's an archon. It's the demiurge. It's the big one with all the armies beneath him, all the hordes of ghouls and goblins and orcs and all these different kinds of creatures that probably have the ability to do things as well. Agents of the Matrix. We don't realize that monsters are the ones that rule us, just like in the movie the Dark Tower. And I believe that there's something to that movie too. More than when I made my video, The Truth About Church Steeples, I know now it's even more than that. Although that video got deplatformed off YouTube, out of all my videos. But for me, the reality is there's more to this, to these towers than even the suggestibility or the mind control that the morphogenics that they emit. There's something even more to them, which I'll probably get into later. Maybe I'll make a video on it. I don't know. I don't really have that much time anymore. I have to make these real fast videos. But there is something more heinous than just the mind control that they imbue. So that one I'm going to cover. I've been getting a lot of these epiphanies as of late. I guess there's something going on. I think that, in the same token that these beings are coming to take over and live amongst us, these demons. Like there was an age before like that, a few ages, in the past, that God's ruled with people, and I don't know how bad it was. It's probably all erased, everything, but it's all also, it's an opening for us, for our evolution, humanity. There is a electromagnetic field probably that we're gonna enter, and it would free us from them. So it is critical for them to intercept this Milky Way passage. I mean, our galaxy passes through different, I guess it takes I guess that's the great year, right? It takes us 26,000 years to go around the 24,000, almost 25,000 years to pass around the whole galaxy. What you call like a Milky Way. It looks like an egg. It takes 24 and a fraction thousands of years, 24,000 something. So every time we go through a little area, there's different magnetic anomalies, because there's different stars and alignment and all these alignments. So we could be in a situation where we can be freed, but we can also be enslaved at the same time. I already known about that one for a long time. I know a lot of these little weird things, but I don't know why I know them. I just don't know why. They just come to me, and I know a lot of them have been proven at least 60%, maybe 70. I knew about the cross, how it's a cross wave. So in other words, the pagan's cross is really a brainwave. Not just a brainwave, it's reality too, because all the waves that are being... You don't get cross waves from electronics. You don't get cross waves from anything outside of consciousness, conscious soul beings. So the cross wave is electrical, I think a vertical and a horizontal, a magnetic horizontal. And they oscillate, they don't oscillate perfectly. While one is going up, the other one is going down. So this is what EM is, electromagnetic magnetism. So, you know, I've come up with a lot of these things, and they've been proven right. I'm kind of like the mini Einstein, except his are more, of course, known and famous and popular. So anyways, I just wanted you to know that if you're going to download anything, you got to go to a private search, and you got to type it in now, because these guys don't play by the book, by the rules, and that's who they are. They're cheaters. They can't get it done, and they're desperate. You see, they, like the Vedas said, cannot produce their own food, so they get it from us, from our essence. That's what they are. They're soul reapers. Just like we know about the angels of death from God. Supposedly God has angels of death, reapers, to come and reap our souls. The Bible says the harvesting of humans or souls is 68 times. Now imagine that. It is incognito, the bad bunch, the Bible. It is the evil. It is not the good, because they have no bottom. You have to remember that. When I tell you these things, you have to remember they have no bottom. They absolutely lie and use leverage and tricks. That's why they tell you you're going to go to hell and all these other things. That's leveraging. That's fear-mongering. We all know a pure, true God would never do that. We know that for a fact. And even at that, let's just say the Bible has been around more than 2,000 years because of the Old Testament. You don't think somebody of, like, let's just say, hypothetically, how many people who are evil, who want to commandeer the minds of people through religion, wouldn't get into religion, into the religious doctrines and change them? That's why there's so many religions. That's why there's 32,000 variants of just the Christian religion. So there you go. Somebody could go in there, mess with it, and we all know Constantine did it. We all know, the two famous sightings I give are Constantine, and I'm sure a whole bunch, in between, and King James. So they use religion to control mainly the poor and the middle class. The rich people, they got their own problems, they're real greedy a lot of times, so they don't have time for a lot of that. And they know, their minds work differently. They can see the fairy tale errors that the Bible produces. It is a combination of emotional plea, half-truths, and logic. I don't know how much half-truths there are, because a lot of it's pagan. A lot of it's pagan, and they're only, telling you stories that could be true. It's just so up in the air. That's all I can tell you. But there is logic in there too. Emotion is bountiful. That's to capture your heart, just like a movie. Any of those things. It is a trick. It's a beguiling trick for sure. And then it leverages you. So I guess this video went too long, but like I said, the blocking of conservative talk radio is connected to the things I always talk about. So I'm not talking out of context at all. I'm not talking out of my understanding of things. Anyways, that was it. I'm going to be making more videos, and like I said, I'm going to try to do one. I have a whole bunch of videos I'm going to make, and I'm going to try to help people understand what we're in, you all, because We have to. Okay. Over and out. Peace.